Okay, so now we're going to find the center of rotation and the angle of rotation given the pre-image on your left and the image on your right. So I'm looking at this thinking, okay, let me take a guess before I actually give and construct the actual center of rotation. And I'm thinking maybe around here might be a good guess. And this process is pretty important because uh, you kind of gauge where your answer is, and you can train your eyes to see, um, where the point of rotation could be. So let's see how far we are, how far I'm off from the original answer. So let's first follow step number one. Says draw a line segment by connecting a point on the pre-image. So that means it could be any point A, B, C, D. But let's choose C because it seems to be the closest one from C to C prime to the corresponding point on the image, so C prime. So let's construct a line segment using a straight edge from going C to C prime. No problem. And step number two then says construct a perpendicular bisector of the line segment drawn. So to do that, we definitely need a compass. And the most important thing about constructing a perpendicular bisector is that make sure you when creating an arc, it has to be larger than the midpoint, right? So let's just be about correct. So let's draw a semicircle, and without changing the compass, length of the compass, I'm simply going to drag it again to C prime and draw the semicircle again, which will produce two intersecting lines, arcs, and using those 2 points, we are going to construct a line that will cut the blue line in half perpendicularly. Right? So that's one. And let me actually get rid of some unnecessary parts right here, including C, because that's all I need. And then step number three says, repeat steps 1 and 2 with another point, all right, other than obviously C and C prime, and label the intersection of the two perpendicular bisectors as point P. Okay, so we already chose C, so let's go with D. And D will be right here, just a little bit right there. So D to D prime, and once again, step number 2 then said to construct a perpendicular bisector. So let's do the same thing right there. This will be a stretch. So at this point, if you draw an arc with this compass length, it's not going to work because those two arcs will not intersect. Therefore, I need to increase that as half. That seems to be at least larger than half. Let me just go all the way and create an arc right there. And also, let's move this over here to C, and then you can also do that. So you can see those two intersect. Once again, now let's construct a perpendicular bisector. It seems to be a little bit off on the screen. So let me just fudge it a little bit. Okay, that should be about right. And then let me also get rid of some of the unnecessary stuff. You don't have to, but let me get rid of that just for clear picture illustration. So these two perpendicular bisectors intersect at this point right there. And that should be labeled as P, indicating that is a center. So I was actually a little bit off. Well, way off, right? But that's perfectly fine. let me get rid of my embarrassing guess. So we have P. Now the question is, what is the angle of rotation? Now that we have the center of rotation, how do we find the angle of rotation? Well, that could simply be done by creating an angle between any corresponding image and pre-image points. So let's do with C. All right. So let me construct a line segment from C to P, and then from P to C prime. And then all I have to do is use a protractor to find the angle measurement. So here we go. Let's make it a little bit smaller. All right, and it looks like a little bit more than a little bit less than 140. Therefore, we could conclude. Now you have to be careful with this angle measurement, because if you say the angle measurement is 100 and let's say 40, that will be a clockwise rotation. So 140 degree rotation will be a clockwise, because C goes from there to C prime. C goes there to there, C prime. So that's a clockwise rotation. So you must indicate that it is 140 degree clockwise. Or if you want to stick with counterclockwise rotation, it will be a subtraction of from 360, which will be 220 in counterclockwise. Okay? It would then go from C to C prime this way, which will be 220 degree counterclockwise, or 140 degrees clockwise. All right, there you go.